they pretty much secure themselves first place, or at least tied for first place.
Yeah.
As I believe Empire have lost a series, as have Vega. So this is looking really good for Four Clovers as a whole against all of these other teams. Their only loss has been against Empire. They started out a bit rocky, but they seem to have found their momentum. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that it's so very hard to draft against them and find a situation where they're out of their comfort zone. And in game number 1 between MVP, they were 100% inside their comfort zone.
Yeah, and as far as what MVP have to do differently, it's really hard to say because they almost had their strategy work perfectly.
Yeah.
But of course, if it almost works perfectly, then it just doesn't work. So maybe it just has to be paying a little bit more attention to what Four Clovers are picking up and try to counterplay them specifically on a hero-by-hero basis. I think you just look at a prime example of that. Seeing the IO Tiny, having access to a Winter Wyvern, and deciding not to go for a Winter Wyvern.
Yeah.
And the Witch Doctor did okay. I mean, especially as far as countering the IO Tiny, but just like that small example, something that MVP Phoenix maybe should be looking to do in the second game to score themselves points so that they could actually move forward into the next stage and keep themselves competitive with NLG and Complexity and, well, maybe even Vega and Empire. It's still possible for MVP to contest them if they, win their 2 games after this one. But yeah, for Four Clovers, I'm pretty sure they have number 1 seed locked up. I don't know if they care about that at all.
But still, it looks good for sure. And for MVP, this is very important. The biggest issue for MVP after losing that first game is the fact that all of their series, even if they win this game, would have been ties. And they just mean a lot less for you when it comes to points. And they're going to be put in a situation where they're floating on the edge, even if they do well today and tomorrow, where they'll be on the brink of elimination, which is a little bit stressful. We'll have to see how they're able to deal with that.
Makes a better story. You gotta
for sure.
You gotta tie with someone, beat them in the tiebreakers, and then plow through everyone in the next stage. That's definitely the game plan here for MVP Phoenix. They're just slow rolling everyone. The other teams, us. Yeah, it's all part of the Korean master plan, guys. But yeah, we're sitting in the lobby completely full. Everyone's here. Should be starting off momentarily. I don't really think Four Clovers have to switch gears. They kind of did switch gears, actually, like, even though they were in their comfort zone in this game. Banning out the Shadow Fiend first, where they have been the team to really place high priority on a high farming Shadow Fiend role, as far as, I mean, maybe like a very heavy carry Shadow Fiend role. We've seen them play that in their last series, and we'll see if they want.
The new high-performance Rig 500 headset from Plantronics is designed to match the skills of an aspiring esport player with the gear they need to win the needs of esports and competitive players around the world. The new Rig 500 series of headsets from Plantronics.
Alright, welcome back. Four Clovers versus MVP Phoenix. We'll reorient you a little bit after that maybe awkwardly timed ad break, but it's all good. We'll be going in Four Clovers versus MVP Phoenix. Do you think they're going to ban out the Shadow Fiend? I really don't, since they have first pick.
Oh, I mean, Four Clovers probably aren't. MVP might.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely look to MVP to do it. It is still both teams on the same side, and Four Clovers on the Dire. I feel like they've been running this the strategy that I was just talking about earlier with Shadow Fiend. You get Beastmaster, your Night Stalker, your Tusk. Well, I mean, it's not possible anymore since the Shadow Fiend's banned out, but they've been running that more so on the Dire side and kind of catching people off guard. But either way, it's definitely very clear, the game plan there. Another hero, IO. It's something we actually didn't talk about by the end of that series. EGM, maybe not with the cleanest of relocates, kind of awkwardly timed at some stages, but man, doing a hell of a lot of damage through his allies, first of all, as IOs usually should, and offering an insane amount of sustain, especially towards that Tiny and some portions of that game also towards the Viper. So if that one's not banned out, I mean, Four Clovers may just first pick the IO, and I don't think I've seen MVP Phoenix respond to anyone after an IO pick with a straight Tiny, although we do see teams do that. I don't think Phoenix are a team to do so. Four Clovers would definitely do that.
Yeah. especially now that they ban out the Bane. This IO might be a little bit harder to respond to in lane and in the game as a whole. This puts them in a bit of a precarious situation. I'm sure they're very well adept at playing the Tiny. It's just not something that we've seen them pull out often, like Empire, where Resolution's playing it very frequently. A lot of the European teams, Tiny's at the top of their list.
And we've seen that reflected in the pick rate of Tiny. Definitely one of the more heavily prioritized heroes. MVP Phoenix, they're going to grab a Doom once again. I'm pretty sure we all know what's coming, and, well, again, you have access to the Winter Wyvern. You know exactly that you're going to go up against an IO Tiny, because why would it be anything else? And they instead this time to mix it up and choose a Spirit Breaker. They definitely did have a little bit of success with this hero, causing that very chaotic, skirmish-heavy type of gameplay that MVP Phoenix thrive on. Yet that being said, you do have a little bit more of a direct counter option available to you, and also that really chaotic type of teamfight style is exactly what 4 Clovers want as well.
Yeah, it looks like they kind of want to beat 4CL at their own game, and that's always very risky, I'd say. That said, 4 Clovers are prone to a little bit of over-aggression, and Spirit Breaker is a decent hero of punishing that, and I do like the Spirit Breaker a little bit better than the Witch Doctor when it comes to flavoring their draft, and I think the Spirit Breaker is a completely reasonable pick, and one that MVP Phoenix are incredibly comfortable with.
So what do you think? Viper? Just going to run it back? Just remake the last game for 4 Clovers. I mean, it's possible. It worked. And as far as anti-Doom heroes or Doom-resistant heroes, Viper definitely near the top of that list as far as cores are concerned. Tiny got doomed a couple of times, but I think like it was only like on the bottom lane, that really skirmishy fight where Tiny just was still punching people the entire time. Though he may be doomed, he still does do what, like 200 damage a pop? Not a bad amount of damage for a Tiny. So MVP Phoenix, if they don't ban out the Viper, I see no reason why 4 Clovers shouldn't just run back their last draft, or at least as much as they could. I mean, Batrider's banned out. Yeah,
as far as heroes from the last draft that are now banned, we have the Jakiro taken away by 4CL, and the Batrider has been taken away by MVP Phoenix. Now, there is always the option for 4CNL to shake things up and throw Pikeout on a different hero, maybe run Bambo on the Tiny. They have that flexibility, and they could also take this in a completely different direction. We just don't know yet. All we know is that they have an IO and Tiny. Although is pretty telling for what they usually want to play it as, doesn't necessarily pigeonhole them.
That's probably going to be
a lot of focus on Bambo by MVP Phoenix.
It's exclusively Bambo heroes, except for Tiny, who, as you said, they can very easily give Pikecat something else. Although, I mean, he did some serious work as Tiny last time, so he's warmed up on the hero specifically. I think that's still probably the best way for 4 Clovers to actually approach this draft. But MVP Phoenix hating out Bambo. We'll see if Bambo's actually able to find success with a hero that we may not have seen him on before. I feel like almost every single Bambo hero has been eliminated or picked up already. The real big ones.
Yeah. I think those are pretty much your big 3. And more importantly, big 2, the Batrider and the Beastmaster. But now MVP Phoenix still have the option of picking up something like the Winter Wyvern, or just pick up the Winter Wyvern here. Since 4 Clovers are worried about the Jakiro, and I think they'll end their draft in a reasonable spot, but right now they're going to be considering what they actually want to do with the Spirit Breaker and the Doom. Spirit Breaker and Doom are very good aggressive heroes and good at finding kills, but again, they're going to put their faith in the Witch Doctor. To be fair, the Witch Doctor got some really good channels on his ultimate in that first game. Even though there was a good amount of things to cancel it, I suppose, he was able to do a lot of damage, at least early, but never found a way to transition.
4 Clovers is going to grab a little more of a defensive-oriented hero in this Dazzle. Together with Io, they're sitting on a hell of a lot of sustain. Still not really showing their hand as far as Nikwa's hero. I guess all 3 of their cores don't really know what they're going to be playing just yet. We just know that one of them is going to be handling a Tiny. MVP Phoenix, we've seen them mostly draft with a very specific game plan in mind, and I think the game plan usually isn't like get a 20-minute mechanism, Blink Dagger, Sanjinyasha, etc., and just go ahead and push. It's really just like we're just going to death push you type of draft, or we're going to power farm type of draft. Right now, it doesn't really seem like they're in any of those departments necessarily. I mean, it's a good thing, I guess, for any team to keep their options open, but it's going to be a Wind Ranger, a hero that I expected to see a lot more, and we've only seen like once. Right?
One that I can remember, maybe 2, but I think it was only 1.
I think it was Vega, and there was a Maelstrom involved.
Yeah, the build was like Maelstrom, BKB, then back into the Aghanim Scepter, and it worked reasonably well. And now for 4 Clovers, it's going to be the slaughter for them, presumably Nikwa's hero.
All right, so 4 Clovers going to get their heals up, going to get their bulk on. And not a Viper as far as resistant to the Doom, but certainly does not do a terrible job at that. You can do some pretty cute things here for the 4 Clovers side. Tossing the Slaughter, we've seen that a hell of a lot of times. And it may just be a Bambo Tiny. It's going to be Huskar to be banned out for right now, but 4 Clovers still, I'm pretty sure, keeping MVP Phoenix guessing. MVP Phoenix, they have, again, a whole lot of powerful heroes, but again, it kind of just feels like a pile, not actually a real draft with a significant strategy in mind.
I think more than Slaughter being Doom resistant, the best answer that 4 Clovers have is the fact that they have Shallow Grave and an IO. They have a lot of ways to keep whoever gets doomed alive for that 15 seconds and then can either re-engage or just cleanly disengage. I mean, there was a good amount of chase from MVP Phoenix, but yeah, for CNL it feels like they're a little bit more cohesive. Although, that said, MVP Phoenix's heroes are good enough in a vacuum, I'd say, to where they can still put up a great fight.
MVP Phoenix still do have access to very comfort zone heroes for QO and Mental Protector, two players that actually play very similarly as far as what heroes they like and their playstyle, and the Templar Assassin is still in the pool if they want to go for that one. Ember Spirit as well. Again, it's more so going to be comfort zone more so than anything else, but I don't know, maybe it's time for MVP Phoenix just to play heroes that they like, and we saw how well it worked for 4 Clovers in the last game. Outside of that, the Gyrocopter is going to be banned out from them. Witch Doctor, Spirit Breaker as supports for really any given safe lane. I don't really know if there's much that 4 Clovers can do to dislodge that lane. It's going to be a jug.
This is a very comfortable draft for MVP Phoenix, I'd say. You have MP on the Juggernaut, QO on the Wind Ranger, Dubu on the Witch Doctor. This is somewhat reminiscent of the first draft for 4CNL. Although I think the 4CNL draft definitely has a lot more direct synergy together. MVP Phoenix have a good mix of ability to push into towers with the Focus Fire and with the Healing Word to sustain them, a good amount of pick-off, decent amount of team fight. Although it is a bit of a grab bag, it's a very good grab bag.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to pick up a whole bunch of heroes from a bag and put them onto the table, you want to have these heroes for MVP Phoenix, I guess. Their timing is going to be not necessarily the 20-minute timing where we usually see a lot of teams. You'll have to get a Blink Dagger on someone and then get a Sanjiasha and a Mechanism on some other heroes and then go ahead and push. It's a little bit later once Wind Ranger is going to get her Aghanim Scepter, maybe get Doom, some way to either bulk up or initiate, ideally both, and Juggernaut will want to have at least level 2 Omni Slash by the time they make those pushes, but they do have a lot of sustain behind them, not only with the Witch Doctor, but also with the Juggernaut and Doom just naturally bulky, and use the Wind Ranger as a battering ram. Yet that being said, 4 Clovers lanes looking pretty scary as they are going to give the Tiny over to Sexy Bambo, not give the Slaughter to Nikwa, giving that one to Pycat as Nikwa is going to grab the Viper once again.
No matter how 4 Clovers... excuse me, there's no way to mute my mic, apologies. No matter how they shake down these lanes, they are going to find themselves in a situation where they're incredibly strong, and maybe even have the potential to go for a pressure lane with maybe like IO Viper or just Dazzle Viper down the bottom lane to make Juggernaut's life terrible. And yeah, it's not going to be that Nikwa Slaughter, but still they are going to find themselves in a situation where they have very comfortable picks for them. Pycat in the Slaughter is going to get a lot more farm priority, and I kind of like that, just making sure he's able to get the blink up ASAP.
And even if he doesn't get a ton of farm, as far as getting blinks are concerned, you got a Tiny. You have an IO. Your Slaughter will have ways of getting into the fight. Maybe not... Oh, that's not what you wanted to do. Here, drink this. You need to drink this now, EGM, trust me.
Well, he'll have his bottle eventually. EGM currently not buying anything that was given to him by somebody else. Pycat.
Was that Saxa's self?
That was Saxa's self.
Okay.
Or Dazzle. Yeah, Pycat Slaughter, EGM on the Wisp, Saxa on the Dazzle. And to round out their lineup, mid lane Nikwa on the Viper, and then a solo safe lane Tiny by Sexy Bambo.
QO on the high ground, getting a couple free shots here onto the IO. So playing the Wind Ranger, we got Ryzen on the Witch Doctor. Mental Protector is on the Juggernaut. 4Ev is the Doom player. And that leaves Dubu on the Spirit Breaker. A little bit of a swap up, although just a little bit. Not too bad. Yeah, for 4 Clovers, their Slaughter will always have ways of getting into those fights. But we might see some cheese here. Not being held by Roshan, but being held by Bambo. This happened once already, and last game MVP got cliffed. So they are paying it. They see him, actually. They have an observer board. They see him. What am I talking about? This shouldn't work. I hope it doesn't work, because if so, it does not bode well for MVP's future in this game.
They're going to be sprinting up towards the top rune, a race between a very fast Slaughter as well as the entire team of MVP charging forward onto Pycat to deny him away that bounty rune. So greedy for it, he wants it, but he's going to be punished pretty dearly for it. A lot of damage going to be dropped into Pycat. He's going to be able to back off. He's just fine, but that does force out a good amount of regen.
Not too bad. Now EGM isn't on the cliff. Would have been a great time to cliff for Ev. You know, send that Doom back up to where he belongs. But seems like we're just gonna have more or less lanes as per expected. Nico is gonna go toe to toe with the Wind Ranger, and it seems like there's actually going to be not that much help being given to either of these two mid laners. We've been seeing a hell of a lot of dual lanes over the past couple of games, but just gonna leave these heroes to their own devices. Should be, for the most part, an even matchup.
Yeah. Bottom lane, MP is going to take a lot of damage, actually, from the heal bomb, just the right clicks from the Slaughter. Juggernaut's not getting that much help. It's just going to be dual lanes versus dual lanes. It's not something we see super often. This is going to lend itself to a more static style of play, where there's a lot of brawls. Toss back under the tower. Frev is going to be fine. He's a Doom.
Yeah, but if you have an Avalanche there, you get that kill 100%. I feel like this happened yesterday.
It did.
Okay, the exact same thing happened. Okay, good. I'm not crazy. I'm pretty sure whoever's casting that literally said the next time if they do that, if they have Avalanche, they're going to get a kill. That may or may not happen. As far as for Clovers and their Tiny play, we've seen like the farming Pycat Tiny. I feel like Bambo is like the trick shot Tiny.
Oh yeah.
He's just like the cheese specialist, and Pycat's just like the farm specialist. And it's really cool to have just like different players who do different things with the same hero.
I'm not sure if he is going to go for like that Blink Force Staff Shadowblade build that he's a little bit more partial towards this game, but at the very least a Blink and maybe Blink Shadowblade, but a charge forward. They have the Hadouken from the fellow creep, but a toss away, and Doom is not going to be able to pursue. They only have level 1 the Spirit Breaker. They have level 2. They have a chance of getting that kill, although not a great one.
It's kind of an awkward top lane here for MVP. Spirit Breaker +1, like with the Dark Zero Undying, definitely lanes that we do see on occasion when you're looking just to really put the screws to kind of the weaker laners. Ember Spirit comes to mind as a big one who you can abuse with that type of combo. Doom really doesn't do that much in that combo until he gets a lot more levels, or at least boots of speed. So Dubu is going to leave for right now. What he can do is help the mid lane QO quite a bit, especially when you have a charge coming in.
Oh, Neek was very much in the middle of the river. If they get a bash, it's going to do so much damage and probably secure them first blood. Even without it, they'll be able to smack him down. Dubu going to get the last hit as MVP get themselves on the board a little bit faster than Forcino.
This is going to tip the scales a little bit more so into Kyo's favor, but still, for the most part, even with this death, you'd expect a Viper should be able to hold control, at least somewhat, in this lane. It will help him a ton once he gets 1 point in Nether Toxin, which I assume is going to be the level 4 pickup versus this Wind Ranger. Of course, we have our bottom lane, Mental Protector. Took a little bit of damage earlier, is not farming super comfortably, but Pycat, Slaughter, I mean, he may be getting farmed, but Slaughter needs quite a few big items, namely that Blink Dagger, if he really wants to be truly effective. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a Tread build here from Pycat. Seems like the right lane matchup.
Oh yeah, and I think most games Treads are excusable. It's like never a bad thing to have attack speed on a Slaughter. But the only way they get a kill, ooh, maybe that has just happened down there with the little bit of a heal bomb and a crush. MP does have the spin, one more smack, the sell through is going to survive, although it is very costly survival. He pops the mango, pops the healing ward, is going to stick around with a little bit of help from the Witch Doctor too.
Super narrow escape there from the MVP side. Up towards top lane, we got a charge onto EGM, while Bambo, not too healthy himself. He does toss away the Doom for Ev. Oh, Scorched Earth is still on, however, it's going to run out soon. And he somehow took tower aggro there, so it should just about be...
Witch Doctor. Bottom lane is going to end up going down, dove by Sax and Pycat. Yeah, what I was going to say earlier about the Juggernaut, he kind of has to be in the creep wave and take a heal bomb and a crush before going down, but the Witch Doctor is so very squishy. They get on top of him and, oh no, these dual lanes, so much action around the map, taking tower shots, the Spirit Breaker is going to die, and Bambo, not so much. Now to 1,000 gold, Tiny is, well, sticking around inside experience range.
Playing things a little bit dangerously, but I would expect nothing less from Sexy Bambo. Having that Avalanche connect onto 2 is going to sometimes make or break your game, and he's going to actually ferry out a salve.
Drop it on the floor for EGM.
Yeah, something like that. We have a charge now going towards the bottom lane. Pycat is going to hit with the stun. Charge is coming in, and MP, well, he may not even let that charge land because he's in the blender, although, no, Slaughter's going to get a little bit distance away. Ooh. Sax is going to teleport away, will not get bumped out by the charge. Oh, Dubu's going in. Here comes full greed mode.
In the meantime, Tiny kills off the Doom, and only half greed mode. Dubu's going to end up canceling that one. They'll be able to find a good combo this time around. A level 5 Tiny. It's so much burst damage, even for a hero with as much HP as a Doom.
Nikwa, though, round 2 on this mid lane. QO does have level 3 power shot. There's level 2 Cross Skin to worry about, but Nikwa's taking so much damage here, and with the power shot through, Wind Ranger will grab the second kill on this Viper over in mid.
Interesting ward, too. Just outside of the true sight range of the tower is going to secure them a good amount of vision over rotations towards that tower. Maybe they're going to be able to dive Nikwa again with it. I'm not sure if 4CNL were paying enough attention to know that that was dropped.
It's a very subtle movement there whenever you place a ward, and you don't really expect wards in that position.
Vrev, Avalanche is going to be dropped, throwing him straight up in the air with the IO Spirits. Vrev does have the Scorched Earth. I think he's able to walk this one off, although they are going to have another toss in 3 seconds. They won't be diving the tower, at least this time.
If EGM had a full bottle there, you could bet they would have went for it, but not bottom lane. Saxa, he's graved up himself. MP getting chased down by Pycat. Crush is there, and it will be a 1-for-1 trade so far, but Dazzle for Juggernaut seems pretty good if you're 4 Clovers. Especially if Pycat gets out scot-free, and he will do just that. Finds himself a reward double damage rune over towards top lane now. Forev caught with an avalanche and the toss. Boom goes the dynamite. There goes the Doom. 2 kills across the map from 4 Clovers in exchange for just 1. Although Nikwa over towards mid lane is going to get charged in. He's going to drop a Viper Strike, but it's not going to do enough versus QO. Focus Fire doing a hell of a lot more there. And are there any lanes that are not going to have kills? Seems like no.
That was a mess. 4 to 5 is going to be our kill score. There's so much action, and a lot of that comes down to how these lanes have been situated. Both lane assignments from either team have a lot of killing potential in the side lanes, and then mid lane, whenever Spirit Breaker or anybody else for that matter makes some sort of rotation, there's also a little bit there. So you pretty much have to keep your eyes on every lane at once, and I tried to show a couple of those fight recaps. I won't be doing that anytime soon, because every time I do, there's another fight going on.
Yeah, more important to see the fights than to reminisce over the past fights. Speaking of fights, Sexy Bambo might find himself in another one, because here comes the charging cow. Charge is going to connect. There is no level 6 here. However, they do land a cast and a Doom. Sexy Bambo does get an avalanche off, but it will not save him. Even the Wind Ranger teleporting up towards the top lane will help secure that kill, I think. I don't know if she actually did help at all, but with so many heroes coming up towards top, it kind of feels like they have to at least try to take down this tower.
That was a little bit of overkill. I don't think MVP needed nearly as much, but the idea is really good, and Bambo was completely alone. As soon as you get 6 on the Doom, find a kill on the safe laner, and they're able to pull that off pretty well. But at the same time, MP is going to survive down the bottom lane, but not get very much farm. He knows that he has absolutely no backup, and if he's not careful and tries to CS, top lane, they're TPing in the Slaughter. Avalanche connects onto Forev. They'll throw the toss just for damage onto the Doom, and without that toss, I don't think they get this kill. It's going to be difficult. Kyo is going to dance around them a little bit, but how's the win run? They're going to toss, canceling the salve on the Doom, but he was mostly full HP anyway. They're still pursuing. EGM is tethered up to Sexy Bambo. Forev does not have a lot of mana, but a big crit onto the IO is going to drop EGM to low amounts of HP, but not quite lethal. Wind run is going to keep the Wind Ranger safe over in the sidelines, and nobody's died yet. Yet is the key word here, as Dubu might be in a little bit of trouble. They don't cancel a charge. Dubu is going to be able to get out of there, or is he? Oh! He's going to end up dying to the creep.
Nico would have finished him off. I think. So there was definitely going to be a kill there, but I'm actually surprised he got that toss off, man. Level 4 toss does have some serious range, and there was a shackle shot involved there. MVP started that fight off by getting a shackle shot on the Slaughter, where Slaughter was off to the right side completely alone, no backup whatsoever, but only level 2 shackle shot, maybe even level 1 shackle shot at the time of it being cast. Not enough damage with level 1 Focus Fire to get those kills, so 4 Clovers, I feel like they definitely should have lost a little bit more there, but it's not going to be the case over towards mid. No, Nico's not going to get dove this time around, as Spirit Breaker will call it quits before it actually lands, but 6 to 5, 4 Clovers. This Slardar, he's getting a couple kills, getting a decent amount of farm. His Blink Dagger rush now commences, and let's see if MVP can actually dislodge him out of this. MP does have an Omni Slash, and they do have a cow coming in.
He really wants this. Charging forward, Pycat is not going to be able to get the crush off in time. But then again, there's a creep wave coming in, so they can't go for the Omni Slash, and Slaughter is going to be A-OK. But up in top lane, toss. Frev is going to be delayed. And, well, there is a Doom onto Saxa, but that's going to be a minor nuisance here, as that's going to expire very shortly. And maybe they go in for round number 2. EGM's around the corner. Has no mana sustain for this Tiny, so never mind that. They really can't fight anymore.
I just want to get Bambo just a little bit more extra cash, because Bambo is, of course, the trick shot Tiny. Maybe he's going to grab his Blink Dagger even before Pycat on his Slardar. Yeah, either way, there's going to be initiation abound here for 4 Clovers. Viper has to step up his initiation game, I guess, but he's well on his way towards his mech, and is he actually done? He's almost done. He's got the 2 components, just needs that recipe to put them together. Then the sustain from 4 Clovers is really, really going to be difficult to deal with. It's already been difficult to deal with. You have a charge going towards EGM. Shack Shot will fail over in mid, but it might be for Ev. No one's going to be in trouble. Everyone will be a little bit cautious here.
This is just a bit of an awkward posturing game from both teams at this point, where there's not a clean way to initiate unless you're going for like a toss-in into the crush. It's a bit of a dance from either side now that everybody's settled back down their lanes and we're not seeing any of those mass rotations anymore.
And we'll see if it's probably going to be 4 Clovers to grab.
Oh, that's a walking courier 11 minutes into the game. Don't see that very often. There's no relocate and no way for them to go for the snipe. Nah, it'll be fine.
It's fine.
But Doom, maybe
don't even worry about it.
I don't know. Yeah.
IO is actually only level 5. Yeah, getting relocate is actually going to come at around the same time as Blink Daggers, which is kind of awkward. You generally want to be you're working with one and then transitioning into the others to vary your options. But I guess now you could have IO, relocate with Nikwa, who's without boots is definitely not exactly what I would call a mobile hero. But yeah, it is going to be kind of lining up perfectly here for the 4 Clover side. They can go ahead and make an aggressive play. They're going to start with harassing Q over in mid. Viper Strike does do a lot of damage, but it will not be enough to kill off the Wind Ranger.
And Nikwa can't dive. He needs to be very safe when you go for this boostless build, at least when it comes to aggressing onto the enemy mid. Still, 6-5 this game. Feels like 4CNL have a slight advantage, and it's going to get much worse for MVP once you have the Blink Daggers up for Pycat and Tiny, but we're in a bit of a slow spot.
And the mechanism is up here on Nikwa, so that's, or up soon.
More damage on MP. This has happened a lot, and this time around he doesn't have a healing word, so maybe MP could be in a little bit of trouble if they make a rotation, but it'll probably be too obvious.
Yeah, and Slaughter has to be really careful. If you're going to go for this Juggernaut kill, you have to sprint. And if you sprint and get Omni Slash, you probably don't get hundreds of zeros, and Slaughter is working with so much HP. But it will definitely hurt a lot. And if anyone else comes in, or if there's a power shot off to the side, or a Spirit Breaker charge, then for sure you're going to fall. Dubu, he's sitting on a double damage rune, however. He's getting put into a pincer. Pycat on one side, Saxa on the other. And that pincer will not pinch correctly, although here comes the IO with who? It's going to be Bambo, Avalanche, plus Toss, and Crush, and Amplify damage. That's a dead cow. However, it came from top lane, and I hope IO comes alone, because it's going to be a nasty surprise should he bring a friend.
Oh, it's just an alone EGM. That is a nasty surprise for the IO, although maybe they expected it regardless. 6-7, it's going to be a 1-for-1 kill across the board. 4CNL probably get a little bit higher priority kill. Ooh.
Bambo with the Blink Daggers and run right to MP. Oh, Avalanche will be dodged by the spin. Quick reactions there for Mental Protector, and he should have seen also that Blink Dagger on Bambo. So, yeah, knowing that that Blink Dagger is now up, MVP can somewhat play around that now, but Blink Dagger number 1 up, Blink Dagger number 2 for Pycat. Should it be the build? Going to come in very shortly. QO, well, he's not spotted. Luckily for him, if there was an Observer Ward there, pretty sure he'd be dead right now.
Right now, it looks like 4CNL have a lot of vision around the river, but nothing that's really going to be setting up very many kills outside of when they go for runes. Sexy Bamboo is still going to be allowed to play very aggressively with this Blink Dagger, and maybe we'll be able to find a jump down towards bottom. Pycat continuing to apply this amp, but he has some backup. MP, I mean. The Crush, not going to connect. Sexy Bamboo is partnered up with EGM. Dewey's around the corner. They catch eyes onto the IO, charging forward onto him. MP is not going to die to the Avalanche toss, able to get off the spin, and EGM's the only casualty for now, and it looks like Sexy Bamboo going to fall as well as he gets doomed up. And there's no way out. Can they get to deny? Viper's around the corner. Mechanism is going to be popped. Sexy Bamboo is going to fall one way or another. Healed up by the Dazzle. Maybe I spoke too soon. Can he actually out-sustain this? Yes! Pycat is inside the blender that is Juggernaut, going through 3 heroes. A shallow Gravel by Pycat, a little bit more time trying to run away. The Coconut is not going to be lethal. Tiny still surviving. Power Shot not surviving any longer. Nico is going to be shackled to a tree. MVP are taking this fight pretty convincingly. Oh, Pycat turns around and is able to bring that when he's on such low amounts of HP. Kyo trying for another power shot. Double kill for the Viper. And now slowing down onto Forev. The Doom is going to be pursued. Blink Crush. Pycat's going to find another. My goodness, that Slaughter play in that last fight was impeccable.
I was going to say before Clover is like, I expected them to lose that fight. First of all, I'm pretty sure most people did. That they made that play mostly because they had their items, the 2 Blink Daggers and the Mechanism. And that Blink Dagger from Slaughter was a surprise. He used it first time, got 2 heroes caught in the Crush. Not bad. In fact, very, very good for Pycat. that being said, this is exactly what we saw in the last game, where 4 Clovers would take, kind of a sketchy opening to the fight. Batrider from Bambo last game was not the one to initiate every single fight all the time. Kind of letting the fight drag out, and then after the fight, or after all the big tools have been used, MVP, half running in a little bit too far, half not expecting the 1 HP slaughter.
A lot of trouble with the amp. It's going to be a death for him. Nikwa now dominating. It is so tanky on the front lines. Avalanche toss connects onto 3. A lot of damage spread between a lot of different targets as they go onto EGM on the back line. Sexy Bambo mops up the double kill, and another one for Nikwa falls. 4 heroes hit the deck. The only survivor is going to be that Spear Breaker. Dubu, don't even breathe. He's been spotted. Charging away. Dubu is not going to be fine. Or is he?
Pycat's clipped?
No, he's not. Okay. All right. Everybody will be fine.
Oh, TP. It's Pycat again.
Nice. Got him. Well played. And Dubu's going to fall. Okay. Pycat, his baller status is like 100 here.
Bambo has officially been christened baller from last game. Pycat has done the same. So 2 out of 5 for Clovers. Oh, man. Okay, well, first of all, that first fight, right? That was when 4 Clovers kind of get initiated upon. Not exactly the start where they kind of start things off with a 1 HP Tiny and Slaughter very quickly follows suit. Conversely, in this fight, it is 4 Clovers to start the initiation on their own terms. Or for the most part. There was a Spear Breaker charge in there, but for the most part, they start initiation with a 3-man Avalanche Toss combo. I'm not sure if it can possibly get better than that. Realistically, in this game, it will not get better than that. Just dropping 3 heroes down to, like, half of their HP pool, and then Tiny was able to run out of there shortly after. And, of course, once everyone is low on HP, Viper's Nether Toxin is going to kick into gear and do that much extra. Reload up towards top, and, MP already got crushed, and he's going to start spinning, but he gets bashed. He'll dodge the Avalanche, but he's not going to dodge death here, as he will get beaten down by EGM. Gonna go Invis, gonna return to, the clutches of Dubu. Oh, he actually broke the Invis. He's gonna bring back Bambo. Charge coming in, plus the Death Ward, but Bambo's gonna drop that immediately with the toss. EGM still alive for right now, is gonna stick up, but I don't expect him to live, and he won't. Bambo, he's going to get woven. He does a backup here with the mechanism, and he should have some heals from the Dazzle shortly in the area. Actually, Bambo still alive. They're going to charge through Nikwa, and Bambo will get mech'd up finally. He's dropping very low. Sax in the meantime just going to distract everyone else away, trying to save the Tiny, who's going to turn out for an Avalanche toss onto Dubu. Will claim that kill. Raisin will throw a really nice cast. Chainsaw 2 heroes, but Pycat's going to return to this fight. Gets a really big bash onto the Doom. Killing off. Sax is still alive somehow. Will fall. Unable to get the deny to the neutrals. Pycat. Blink in 3. Oh, no, he has Blink in 1. Blink forward from the Tiny is going to give him a toss forward. That's going to be a dead Witch Doctor. Avalanche down to MP, and Nikwa still at literally full HP. MP, you do not want to go into that. Trust me, bro. Pycat, does he have enough mana for a crush? No. Seems like they should have to call this fight quits. And there's no targets left anyway. But 4 Clovers just styling all over MVP.
That was still a pretty close fight when it comes to the metrics. It was 2 for 3, not a disastrous engagement at all for MVP, within reasonable bounds, but still, these initiations from the Slaughter have been so good. 5-0 and 9, and now they're going to move into the Roshan pit. 4 Clovers are incredibly strong when they fight as a group, and that starts out in a way that really felt like it should have been punished more. They relocate in, the Io gets separated, gets killed, the Tiny's doomed and left alone, but this Roshan is going to very freely fall in favor of 4 Clovers, where MVP just can't take the engagement. And another really big issue for MVP is the fact that MP can't really do anything inside these fights. He hasn't been able to get off a single Omni Slash, good or otherwise. I don't think it's been cast once. And, I mean, Spin is okay, but it's just not comparing at all to the likes of the Tiny, who's now well on his way towards his Aghanim Scepter.
Omni Slash is only level 1 still, and he's a full level away from having that level 2, and who are you going to Omni Slash and kill? Viper has like 1,000,000 HP. Slaughter has the power treads, and he's just naturally bulky. And Tiny almost has his Aghanims completed. I mean, he has the health component there with the point boost. Oh, QO is so screwed right now. Slowed down by the Viper Strike. He'll throw a Shackle. That will not save his life. Now relocate up towards top lane shortly after. Pycat's already initiated onto MP right now. Death Ward is going to get dropped as they do land the Doom onto Bambo. He does have the Aegis, however. EGM going to try to drive away MP and 4EV. Is he going to just leave? Level death. Oh, fire! EGM!
He lives! Okay. Alright, scares us there. He gets another stick to make sure that he is able to survive. Now, it's not over yet. They blink in. Sexy Bambo wants it so bad. Avalanche onto Ryzen, throws him up into the air. Charge forward onto the Tiny. Maybe they're able to turn around, but they've committed all of their big ultimates. And yeah, here comes Pycat. He's a little bit far away, but he's close soon. MP really just wants to get up an Omni Slash, and he just can't. Sexy Bambo is there. Stunned up, but now here comes Pycat, just waiting in the sidelines. He's smoked up. They don't know where he is, but he's also incredibly low when it comes to HP pool. So Force CNL are going to wisely back off, at least for now.
And that's the perfect time for an Omni Slash. There's no creeps there, no creeps coming.
He just keeps on getting stunned.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's that, and also there's 3 heroes, I guess, so it's not exactly ideal, but the Omni Slash is still level 1, so it doesn't do anything to anyone. Oh, they're going to jump in for QO, and perhaps she is going to win run, so dodge a lot of Pycat's damage, but the Shackle will fail. Power Shot will completely whiff, at least the EGM. Pycat is going to fall for this one, as MP finally gets his Omni Slash dues, but now it's level 2, and now it's on a huge cooldown. EGM trying to juke, that will not work. He'll get chased down by the Doom for finally killing off that Light Bulb, which he failed to do earlier. And for Clovers, they get the Wind Ranger, though, with just a Slaughter and Io. 2 heroes that are not exactly known for their damage output.
Well, on top of that, we have a Viper now with a Crimson Guard completed. Nikwa is unkillable, I want to say. He's the top net worth in the game, and even if they throw everything at him, there's no guarantee. There really isn't. If there's any intervention from the Dazzle and the Io, he's probably just going to be able to turn around. One of the biggest issues for MVP is the fact that they're just not keeping up on any of their cores, really. The Wind Ranger doesn't have a completed item yet. She's working towards that Axe, but even once she finishes the Scepter, it's not going to be enough damage to fully combat inside these fights. They're just lacking a little bit of oomph.
That should be coming from the Juggernaut and the Doom, but just doesn't seem like they have it coming out from those heroes. Again, the low-level situation, Juggernaut really not working out for him. I don't think Nikwa is quite necessarily unkillable. Like, Saxa may have his hands full with someone else. Same thing with EGM. He's probably going to die first, as EGM has done so far in this game, according to plan. Like, that's a good thing for 4 Clovers that EGM is the first one to die, but yeah, it's going to be really hard to kill off Nikwa and at the same time deal with everyone else. Like, yeah. There's just too many threats here on 4 Clovers, and you could try to go into the backlines, pick off EGM, pick off Saxa. They're the easiest targets. Oh, he's going to blink right to a Shackle Pambo, and the cast's going to stun him, and he's going to get maledicted, but he's just not taking any damage. He's going to get blinked back by the Io, and they're going to doom Nikwa. He actually does not care about this one bit. He's going to get some help from the Avalanche toss on the 4. He's going to drop him so low already. Nikwa's still very healthy, and a nice 4-man crush from Bycat is going to halt the advance here for MVP. They do land a Shackle Shot onto Saxa. They drop a Death Ward onto him as well. They should be able to bring him down, but no, with the mech, he's going to stick up back to almost full HP. He's still alive now. Graves himself. This Dazzle refusing to go down. In the meantime, Pycat jumping in to race and finally canceling out the Death Ward. Saxa's still alive somehow. Will heal himself, but will ultimately die to the Doom. But that's good enough for 4 Clovers. They'll take out the Juggernaut, force a buyback out of the Witch Doctor, and now beat down in the tower. How the hell does a Dazzle live that long? I don't know. That's just not supposed to happen, dude.
Pycat was fishing for another one of those kills, but who needs Ravage when you have Crush in that last fight? 4 Clovers are taking these engagements a lot better, and really, I don't see the purpose of dooming the Viper. He took no damage, like 95% of his HP pool during that entire fight, and was able to still contribute exactly as much as if he hadn't been doomed. It was just a really difficult uphill battle for MVP to take, and I don't think there's a better option for them, but this game is just falling out of reach for them. The advantage for 4 Clovers is starting to become insane.
I think they were just itching for a fight a little bit too much. Like, by dooming the Viper, you do take out the Crimson and the Mechanism. I think those are the... I mean, I guess also the ultimate, technically, but those are the 2 big items. Those are the 2 big tools that you take off by using that Doom. But at the same time, like, if you doom Tiny, does he care? Maybe doing Dazzle and trying to pick off the other heroes with Burst, but their Burst isn't even that high right now. If they had Aghanim Scepter completed on the Wind Ranger, maybe, but she doesn't even have that, and even then, she doesn't have enough brute force damage to kill off these really bulky heroes. She needs some sort of extra damage item. Any damage item she can get those kills. Maybe they're going to have an angle on Nikwa. Yeah, Shackle Shot, very long, will land Death Ward and Doom. Nikwa is still not dead just yet. Tiny's going to arrive. That's not exactly going to help him, although they're going to Glimmer and relocate him out. Even tried to kill him off there, Bambo. Not sure if Troll, but either way, maybe Viper is unkillable after all.
Okay, by himself, we've learned one thing in that last skirmish. Viper is mortal. Oh, charge away. He's going to connect. Let's see. He has a blink. No Force Staff. The Crush is not going to be on the mark. But they still maintain vision of him, and Dubu's not out of the woods yet. Throws another strike under the tower, but Pycat doesn't seem to care. Avalanche toss. Dead Spirit Breaker and Tier 1 tower soon to fall afterwards.
Well, you can't kill off the Viper when you dump your entire set of ultimates on him. I guess they do still have the Omni Slash, and that definitely would have gotten the job done. But, and Saxa in range, EGM as well. With Glimmer Cape and Grave, like, there's just actually nothing that you can do to kill off Nico, who's already super, super tanky, upwards of, or almost at 2,000 HP once he completes this Sange. once he grabs the Belt of Giant Strength, at least, he's going to grab that 2,000 HP mark. It's time to take down the tier 2s. Screw Roshan. It's not even up yet. Just go for the Raxes. Force MVP to fight because they still are not ready to do so.
MP's down the bottom lane, but him being in the bottom lane or him being inside the base, I don't think it matters much. Nice Shackle. EGM and Sexy Bambo are going to be tethered together. Blink and Crush, however, connects onto the back lines. Oh, the toss onto the Doom. The Wind Ranger has already fallen. 2 heroes hit the deck, and 4CNL have lost nothing. Sexy Bambo still very strong on the front lines, and Pycat, even though he was dropped to about 2/3 HP, has been juiced up back to full, and now they just continue what they started. Tier 3 has since fallen. Now Melee Barracks soon afterwards.
The Crimson Guard on Viper and the Vlads on the Slaughter, not bad items by any means, but these are items you go for if you're looking to end the game, and it looks like they maybe should be able to do that. MP is doomed. They're going, he's going to spin away. Doom's going to go on Sexy Bambo. That will save him. They were looking for a toss onto anyone to kill off that Juggernaut, but everyone else from 4 Clovers will walk away, but they pull out Doom, and it's literally doing no damage right now, and Bambo is still swinging for 200 a pop.
Yeah. Fair enough, and he's also probably going to pick up a Moon Shard, I want to say, just to finish off this push. He doesn't have money for it now. Charge Through is going to connect onto a lot of heroes, but to what end? He really wants to kill off EGM. Shallow Grave is going to mean that this is a very difficult sell for them. The Cask is going to connect, canceling his TP. Deathward Channeled is going to do a good amount of damage. That Cask is really doing a lot of work inside this fight, but a lot of work just isn't enough. And now Tiny turns. Pycat with a Crush. MP is going to be swiped down. They buy back on the Doom, scraping to pull this fight back in, but GG well played, as it's a clean 2-0 for 4CL.
To make that type of play, MVP, first of all, I mean, they were pretty desperate, so there's that. They really don't have the item advantage, the burst, to make that type of play where they're going to charge outside of their base looking for kills. We saw 4 Clovers. Yeah, the Cask was wrecking them. In fact, in both games, these Witch Doctor Casks have been really, really good, but unfortunately, Cask is just not a skill that will win you the game by itself. You really do need some sort of follow-up there. The Cask was really good, but they're walking into a huge Tiny. They're walking into heroes with mobility and initiation styles enough just to turn around and very quickly get on top of you, overwhelm you, and kill you off. If you have BKB, or if you have, like, you know, an SNY on Juggernaut, maybe, that's not too much to ask for. 26 minutes in the game, your Aghanim Scepter completed on the Wind Ranger. Yeah, maybe you can make those plays, but I guess they figured we used our Doom. If we don't make something happen right now, we're going to lose the game. And I guess to their credit, that they're probably right in that guess. But it's just too many issues coming out from 4 Clovers. Like, who do you kill? Who can you kill? And
what can you do after if you even kill them? Like, there's just way too many things that didn't go right for MVP. In fact, it's hard to think of a situation inside that game where they were the ones controlling the situation and taking the engagement. There were a couple of times where it was close and they were able to trade, but it was never like, oh, MVP just won this fight convincingly.
I like MVP when they're more assertive. I like it when they go for maybe not like drafts from game 1, but that style of draft where they have a very clear game plan. This time, like we said, pile of heroes, and I still don't think there's any real huge game plan here for MVP. I said the timing was like a 30-minute timing, not a 20-minute timing, and well, game ended at 26 minutes, so we sure saw how well that worked. But MVP, when they're not playing their own game, they're just getting absolutely wrecked the entire time. And 4 Clovers, I guess, are kind of a similar team in how they want to get into their comfort zone and just ride that into a victory. But 4 Clovers, their heroes just came up faster. And the fact that they had a timing where they had double Blink Daggers up relatively close to one another and Mechanism, that bottom lane fight, that was the moment where it was almost just completely all over for MVP.
That same leap in power just can't be seen from MVP. And even if they had it, maybe it doesn't work out for them, but at least they have a shot of taking those engagements if they do want to fight 4CL at their own game. And if not, they need to find a way to avoid the fights, if that's even possible.
It's really hard to avoid the fights when there's so many Blink Daggers, there's relocates, and, well, you're under-leveled, you're under-farmed. Juggernaut has drums. Sure, I mean, it's a good item on Juggernaut, but for 26 minutes in, when you're a Juggernaut, you really do need a little bit more than that. I'm not sure if Wind Ranger has her completed Ags in her stash, but she doesn't have it on her, so MVP just not really getting heroes that really get up fast enough, and then is the payoff even high enough? Like, you look at heroes like Spectre, who you get your Radiance, and you're just like, oh, I'm God now, I'll just kill everybody, but you know, Wind Ranger with Aghanims is strong, Juggernaut with SNY is strong. Are they decisively stronger than any given core hero on 4 Clovers? I don't think they are.
Yeah, and those big leaps in power come a lot later than like a Blink Dagger. Once Pycat had that Blink, he was on. Like, every single one of those initiations was on point, and he only gives up 1 death. And for a Slaughter, that's impressive. 10-1 and 12 is pretty much as good as you can hope.
Everyone has 12 assists, except for Bambo, who has 12 kills. We've uncovered some sort of conspiracy.
Well, thanks for watching the GameShop Global Esports Cup. That'll round out the series for Clovers convincingly in the top of this round robin, only losing to Empire. Granted, it was a 2-0 loss, but they have won every single one of their games. They started a bit rocky, but once they found their groove, they've been playing really well.
Yeah, and that is going to mean that we have one more set coming up. It's going to be soon. MVP and NLG and Complexity soon.
Yes. No Logic Gaming and Complexity coming up next. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back to a small commercial break, and we'll see